Hello, I'm Jenny Luscombe, and I'm a facilitator of healing and a very passionate advocate for self-healing. I'm just about to do my show on Holistic Radio, which is 5 till 6 p.m. UK time on Mondays. It would really help me to help others if you would like the video, share and subscribe if you like what you see here today. And today the show is going to be a post-eclipse meditation. One. Hello, this is Jenny Luscombe. This is Feeling is Healing, and I think it's episode 33 that we're on. And I thought we'd do a post-eclipse meditation today, because I heard somebody say eclipses, a good way to think about eclipses is it's like a redo. So a everything, restore, review, re-energize, refresh. So yeah, after it's happened, you're kind of like, what just happened? I mean, I really did feel the energy, but not in a bad way. I felt it in a good way. And my daughter was here, so we kind of laughed a lot this weekend. And there's a sense of like not really knowing where we're going at this point, and everyone's kind of exhausted, and people have got symptoms, and but I like the thought of ever, all those words beginning with re. I love this because it reminds us how forgiving the universe is. So it's never too late for a redo or for a renewal. So every day is the first day of the rest of your life, in my opinion. So, what an eclipse actually is, what the purpose of that, in sort of speaking in terms of the universe and the multiverse, it's about transformation. It's about transforming our lives. So being pushed forward in a kind way and in a progressive way, but the most progressive and healthy way for us personally. So because we've all got control issues because of everything that's been done to us, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's kind the way that things happen. So this is like a door to a different dimension opening up, and certain things ending, and making space for certain things to begin anew, kind of in their place. So sometimes truths can get revealed, which is not always it doesn't always feel good, but obviously it is always good when the truth comes out. So it could feel like gut feelings, emotions, beliefs, so things that you are kind of outside of your awareness or basically suppressed in your subconscious mind. Sometimes things come up. So truths can come out also that you kind of knew about deep down, but avoided looking at. So when I look back at my life, there was a lot of things sort of unfolded that I kind of knew were coming at some point or another, but I didn't feel ready to look at them, to start with. But yeah, eclipses have a habit of bringing those kind of things to a head and out into the light of day. So this this lunar eclipse was a particularly bonkers eclipse because of everything that's going on in the world, but also apparently the Schumann resonance apparently stopped for 4 days. So I believe that the instruments that are used to measure that showed that there was a 60-hour period between the 13th and the 16th, at the same time as the eclipse gateway, that just didn't register anything. So it was just this big nothing, this big, huge nothing, which is quite amazing when you think about, this is measuring the global electromagnetic field. Suddenly there was nothing there. So, you know, some people saw this as good, some people saw this as bad, but it kind of reinforces to me, like the way I look at it is, the same thing could be happening, but half of us are seeing it in a positive light and half of us are seeing it in a negative light. So it's sort of symbolic of what we're going through. And I've heard it said that, these earthly instruments that we're measuring forces like that can actually no longer be effective measurements because of magnitude of the shifts and changes that are going on. So we can't really measure things in a linear way anymore that are actually multi-dimensional in nature. So it kind of felt like a void space or a pause or a kind of almost like a going sort of in the opposite direction of that, like a dam break kind of energy, like a holding your breath kind of sense of something huge happening. So this is kind of the cosmic forces of the universe were basically rushing into the earth grid in an amplified kind of way, like a tsunami would sweep everything with it. So I sort of see this like a big cosmic memo that we've all downloaded, but we don't yet know how to read that. We haven't opened it yet, or we don't know how to translate it. So it was like a sort of magnificent retuning of our frequencies. So a lot of people felt it physically with all kinds of symptoms and sensations in the body. And some sort of felt that as an emotional purge, some with kind of vivid dreams and visions. And then there were a lot of people stuck in mental patterns, thinking, trying to sort of figure your way out of something. And then some people just felt really high, which was kind of the way that I felt it. And I haven't felt eclipses like that, I don't think, ever before. But um, I think just lately I've felt like my body is sort of on the edge of fever a lot, like not 24/7, but like every now and then I get a feeling in my body of something's going on. And it doesn't feel like I'm going to get sick, but it feels like the feeling that you get when you're beginning to get a fever. And then it kind of goes away again. So I had that a few times, but mainly I was just laughing my head off all weekend. And I did a lot of sneezing, so I don't know quite what that means. But generally, I was feeling quite calm and relaxed. But then last night, when I thought about what did this eclipse do to me, it was almost like I gave permission for it all to surface then. So I surfaced loads of patterns last night when I sort of sat down and thought about it. I thought about what I was letting go of, and then it was kind of like my energy system was forming a queue. There was quite a lot there. So yeah, this was and still is an opportunity as we're now in what some people call an eclipse tunnel, because there's another one coming. So we could look at this, and some do look at this as a scary force of nature, and we're afraid of being picked up and spat out and afraid of where it's taking us, where we're going to land. So we could look at it that way, or we could look at it with curiosity, which is my favorite energy of all. So our even though this affects everybody, our free will still applies with these happenings of cosmic significance, because if we engage with it, then we can harness the magnitude of it. If we don't engage with it, there's still going to be things happening. But if we're consciously participating in that, we're more likely to have it unfold in a way that we're, keen on. So it's what we make of it. We can choose to participate, or, you know, it's going to carry us, but we can let it carry us. And it's kind of it's a bit of a paradox, because we have to be active in terms of going towards letting go of patterns that are no longer serving us. So we have to be active and conscious on some level if we want to harness it. But the paradox is that it's just going to carry us anyway. It's kind of, we have control up to a point. We can use our free will. But at the end of the day, we have to also surrender. So we have to be passive, but we have to be active, which is why this energy is kind of so tricky. And I think that inevitably it's this paradox. It kind of leads us to mastery in some way. It's like a bit of a tightrope walk until you fully sort of understand it. So let's meditate. Let's get into this. So I would recommend for any meditation that engaging your body as well as your mind and your heart is always a good idea. And some people call that the Trinity of coherence, which I really like. So the idea of engaging your body as well as your mind and your heart all at the same time is that you're all in. This is how manifestation can occur. You can't really get manifestation working for you unless you're engaging all of those parts. And there's lots of different ways to do that. But I always recommend tapping because it lowers your cortisol, and that is at the root of all negative emotions. That's what's keeping them, firing them up. So lowering your cortisol, tapping also helps you learn. It helps you with self-awareness. It helps you have realizations. It helps you to surface subconscious information, to receive information from the universe and from yourself that you didn't know that you didn't know. And it helps you to make connections and to process emotion and to witness emotion. And just bringing awareness to your emotion is really what healing is. And a lot of people overcomplicate it. So I would start tapping on your thymus point, which is on your chest plate in the middle. Some people call this the higher heart, but your thymus point is the central meridian point for your whole system. And this is what governs your life force energy moving around evenly in your body for your benefit. If you don't want to tap there, you can try the side of your hand underneath your little finger on that squidgy part of your hand. And you can keep swapping hands, or you can alternate between those 2 points, or you can tap on any of the points that we've used before. So have a couple of deep breaths. And then just have another deep breath and then feel yourself sink down into your body. And if it felt like you were in your head, just have another deep breath and then sink down into your body. Imagine coming into land in your own body. Imagine bringing your mind down into your body with you. And then just ask yourself, how is my mind? What's it doing? So it's probably thinking. And often our mind is doing all kinds of things that we don't really realize that it's doing. And our mind thinking isn't a bad thing. Sometimes the spiritual community gives us messages that we shouldn't be thinking, thinking. But actually, we need to, and we can't not think. We need it. And it's just a case of harnessing all three at once, which is hard. So value your thinking. So more often than not, it's quite valuable to know that when you're thinking a lot, you're trying to resolve something. And you're trying to resolve something that might not be resolvable actually from where you are, because you're probably trying to resolve something that is old, an old story, but it feels like it's current because there's something going on in your reality that's stressing you out. And you're trying to resolve it by thinking, just looking at it in lots of different ways. It's actually an old story that you're trying to resolve. So just notice that. And just make it okay that you're thinking. Don't beat yourself up about it. But just notice, what is my mind doing? And then imagine your mind and your heart kind of knitting together. Imagine them holding hands. So your mind is where the thinking happens. Your heart is where the feeling happens. So just tune into your heart and just notice what you're feeling. And just value it, whatever it is, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Whatever you're feeling is always a message. And then just notice your body generally. What's my body doing? So this is the part of the equation for manifestation that we don't always engage with. Sometimes we try to escape from our body with addictions, with procrastination. Our body is the part of us that acts and that does. So our mind does the thinking, our heart does the feeling, and our body does the doing and the acting. So sometimes we don't do when it would serve us to do, but that's okay. So just ask yourself, what's my body doing? How is it feeling? So just imagine those three parts of you holding hands and then connect them consciously. And then just try to breathe as naturally as you can. And just keep tapping. So see if you can sense the earth beneath your feet. So the energy field of the earth. And just move towards that with curiosity and with gratitude. Because it's the earth receiving all this cosmic energy for us that is causing us to have quantum leaps in a good way. So just thank the earth for being able to let in and absorb this cosmic energy. So just sense the earth and imagine it humming. So what does it sound like to you? To me, it sounds like the wind, the creaking of the trees, the rain, the buzz of the bees, the sound of the crickets, the sound of the sea, the sheep in the fields, the monkeys in the jungle, and then the language of the birds, maybe a mountain stream. So what does it sound like to you? Just connect with that. And what does the earth feel like? So this is feminine energy, nurturing, mothering, receptive, giving, diverse and abundant and creative. Just think of that clean, organic, magical, natural energy that just fits together. Everything works as long as she's not interfered with. So just think about how the earth changes and transforms. So sometimes the tectonic plates shift around, and we get earthquakes. Sometimes we get fires and floods and tornadoes. And it might seem frightening, this kind of change, and powerful and destructive. But it's just nature, and we're just nature. And it's natural for it to need to purge like that. Like it's natural for us to purge. So just shift your focus from the earth to your world. And then just call to mind two things that you'd like to change or let go of. And we're not going to go deeply into those at all today, but just sort of put them in order of priority for you. And you might already have gone down this rabbit hole already with this eclipse if you've been consciously moving towards working with the energies, but maybe you haven't. So just call to mind two things that you'd like to change for the better. So it might be a relationship pattern. It might be something that you've noticed that you do or that you've recently found out about yourself that you would like to change or move or integrate. So it might be a problem in your life of some kind that you've found unworkable, resistant to change. There might be a person that is causing issues for you. It might be a situation. So just put those in order of priority. So just take the first one and then imagine putting that situation in a bubble, in a big bubble in front of you. And it's just kind of hovering in space. And it's far enough away from you for you to not really feel it intensely, but you're bringing into your awareness why that's difficult for you and why you're resisting it. And it just makes sense that you would do that. It might frustrate you. You might want to bring it close and work through it, but there might be fear there. You might worry that if you look at it too closely, it'll take over or that things will get worse. So just look at it, just witness it, just be with it. And there's nothing to do. Just think about how you tend to push it away and you might avoid it. Think about how you avoid it, what you might do to avoid it. And just accept that you do that. And maybe you try not to feel it. Maybe you ignore it completely and hope that someone rescues you or that something will change. So you might pretend it's not there. You might play it down. You might lie to yourself about how serious it is. There's loads of things that you might do to distance yourself from that. And it just makes sense that you would do that because we've been programmed from every angle to not process what we're going through and to get stuck. So if you feel a stuckness with this, just let yourself feel it and know that that's most of us. And there isn't anything specifically wrong and bad about you that you might be doing that. So none of these tactics have solved the issue up until now. So this is what eclipse energy is for. It's like an energetic wind that is blowing through all the cells of your body, where all those old stories are held, where all the origins of all of this is held. So imagine this eclipse energy as this energetic wind, but it feels like a gentle breeze. So just notice this gentle breeze move this bubble. And imagine that this bubble with this issue in is slowly moving towards you. And it's going to pass straight through your heart and out the other side. And it's not going to take long. It's only going to take a few seconds. And then just wonder to yourself, I wonder if I can momentarily feel the intensity of that. I wonder if I can notice the sensation in my body that that gives me when this bubble passes through. I wonder if I can feel that story that I'm telling myself. I wonder if I can feel the emotion. I wonder if I can hear what I say to myself about it, just in a snapshot of a few seconds. So if you feel willing, allow yourself to intensively feel that as this eclipse energy just blows that breeze through you. And it's okay to not want to do that. But if you are resistant, just notice it. Because none of our problems are actually caused by the negative emotion or by the issues themselves. None of our problems are caused by the issues that we've got. They're all caused by the resistance that we have to feeling it. So you can just let that pass through you without feeling it. And that's okay. Because this eclipse energy is going to move this situation anyway. But just let yourself feel the intensity of that just while it's in your body. Let it float through to the other side. Because sometimes when you just let it take over for a few seconds, sometimes you actually realize something that you didn't know before. So just be open to new information coming. So if you can, experience that intensively for that short window as that bubble passes through, and do it with curiosity, because curiosity is always a moving towards. And then embrace that crazy paradox of actively intending and releasing this situation, but also allowing it to be carried away from you and out of your control, and surrender it to the universe. So imagine it's completely gone through you now, through your heart, out the other side, and just turn around and watch it float away, because you've set the intention for the universe to work with this, to bring you change. And you've been trying to control this, maybe your whole life, maybe for years, this has been particularly unworkable for you and difficult. So now just experience yourself surrendering that bubble, that situation, and just let it float off. And now it isn't your problem. Imagine that you've just literally handed it over, all of it, in its entirety. So watch it float away, carrying your destiny of that situation with it, and then send it love. And then ask yourself, I wonder where I'll be when I realize that that situation has changed entirely. And just feel curious about that, and imagine yourself sometime in the future going, oh my God, I wondered where I would be when I realized that that had changed. And that's now. So just let the bubble float away until you can't see it anymore. Now we're going to go back and we're going to get that other problem. So the second one, put that in a bubble in front of you. And then think about how you've tended to push this away. Maybe you've avoided it. You've tried not to feel it. You've ignored it. You've pretended it's not there. You've suppressed it. You've rejected it. You've made it someone else's problem. You've played it down. But none of that solved the issue up until now. So your resistance to it might have actually prolonged your own agony. And it's never the thing that causes the trouble. It's always your resistance. So this eclipse energy is coming like an energetic wind again, like a gentle breeze. And it's blowing through all the cells of your body. So see it moving this bubble. And then imagine that it's blowing this bubble towards your heart. And then you can let it pass through without feeling that, and that's okay. Or you can momentarily let yourself feel the intensity of that. Be open to receiving a news flash or a piece of information that you didn't know about that thing. And it's only going to take a few seconds. So you might feel the pain of that momentarily, the intensity, the sensations in your body that it gives you, the emotions, the story that you're telling yourself, what you say to yourself about it, what you say to other people about it, what you think about it, what you believe about it. So just experience that intensively for the short window of time as the bubble passes through your heart and pops out the other side. So do all of this with curiosity. And again, embrace the paradox of actively intending and releasing this, but also allowing it to be carried away from you, out of your control. Surrender it to the universe. So turn around and watch it float away in that bubble, carrying your destiny about that situation away from you so that you can't interfere with it anymore. Just hand it over. Send it love. And then ask yourself, I wonder where I'll be when I realize that that situation has completely changed. And just feel really curious about that. I wonder where I'll be the moment I realize that doing this has helped me change that. I wonder where I'll be when I realize how powerful I am. And then just feel really curious and really grateful. And thank your body for participating with you. Thank your body for feeling the sensation of those issues. And thank your heart for feeling the emotion of those issues. And thank your mind for all the thinking and all the stories that got you here. Thank you for the lessons. And thank yourself for surrendering and acknowledging that you're not in control and that trying to control this didn't do any good. And you might have prolonged your own agony. And that's okay. And it's a good thing because you now know not to do that. So just imagine relaxing now with every fiber of your being, relaxing into not being in control. And just feel how that can feel like relief. Oh my God, it feels so good to not be manipulating, to not be trying to control everything and everyone. It's such hard work. Just let that relief engulf you. I'm not in control. And that's good. So, us humans, we think we can push against planets and forces of the universe and the moon, the sun, source energy, God itself. Just have a little laugh at yourself, trying to fight against what God wants for you. We do it all the time and it's bonkers. So we just have to see that we're doing it and see that that's why it doesn't work. Fighting with nature is not going to work. We just have to let go of the control and tune into what source wants for us, and then do that. And it's so much easier floating downstream than trying to get upstream against the tide. So flow energy is what eclipses are all about. This is what this is all for. The eclipse energy is just taking away anything that doesn't flow for us, anything that isn't working, including things that we thought were working that actually aren't, because that thing is in the way of something better, which we need to make room for. So we might think that we want something that God doesn't want. You know, it just isn't true. And fighting against physics, fighting against all the forces of nature, I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than a planet. It doesn't get much bigger than the Earth, the sun, the moon. So let's just let them do it. And we don't have to understand it. We don't have to know where we're going. So just think about that first bubble again, that situation that you've let go of. So imagine the Earth sending its energy up through your feet, and the universe sending this cosmic energy down through the top of your head. So imagine you're absorbing from the stars and you're absorbing from the earth, and you're like a sponge. So you're absorbing a new template for that situation now. This is like, think of yourself like a computer that is being reset, and you're being refreshed, and you're having a new download. So you're receiving from the stars, you're receiving from the earth, a new template for that situation entirely. You're on new ground. It's a new vibe. There's now new opportunity, new unseen information, new magic that you didn't know was coming. So it's already starting to facilitate your healing on that, and anyone else connected to that. So just lean into the possibility of this and receive this energy from both ends with openness and curiosity, and even excited anticipation. And wonder where you'll be when you know what this new ground is. I wonder where I'll be when I understand the download. I wonder where I'll be when I notice these changes have happened. And I wonder how happy I'll be. And I wonder how I never thought it would turn out the way it did. And I wonder how it's better than I could possibly have imagined. So just think about that second bubble, that second situation. And imagine the earth sending up through your feet this beautiful feminine nurturing energy of Mother Earth, and then down through the top of your head, the energy from the stars, the universe, the multiverse, coming down through the top of your head. And then just feel the arrival of this new template for that situation. You are on new ground entirely. It's a new vibe. It's a new transmission, new opportunities, new unseen information. Something magical that you never could possibly have imagined is coming because you've let God do it. And you're not in control. And something is coming to facilitate your healing on that and anyone else connected to that. So lean into the possibility of this. And it's happening because you say it is. because you're in charge. So receive these energies with openness and curiosity and excited anticipation. And then wonder where you'll be when you realize that you got the download and that you couldn't possibly make it up. How is this even possible that this could have happened? This unbelievable outcome, better than anything you could possibly have imagined. So the eclipse and this gap in the Schumann resonance that we don't really understand. We're being taken towards next steps and we don't know what they are, and we've got no way of knowing what they are. We can follow our guidance and we can just take the next step and then the next one and then the next one, but we can't really see where they're going. So imagine these steps, literally like a stairway to heaven. Imagine these steps in front of you. You can't, it's kind of a bit foggy. You can't really see where they're going, but just make it okay that we don't know. We don't know. We just don't. And if that kind of need for certainty and predictability sometimes takes over, just have some compassion for yourself, because if we'd been learnt to be comfortable about not knowing, when we were kids, it would just be normal and we'd just expand and everything would be really different to how it is. So what does your staircase look like? Mine's a bit sparkly and it lights up when you stand on it in different colours. And it's kind of got ornate, curly banisters, sort of made out of sea wood, like driftwood, kind of a bit kind of shabby chic style. So just look at your staircase, and it is kind of going into nothing. But I like the concept that I heard somebody say once, and I can't remember who that was, that God isn't finished. Like the universe isn't finished. Sometimes people who don't understand spirituality, they don't understand the faith and stuff that we have. And they're like, how can God or source or whatever, how can the creator let such bad things happen? And it makes sense to me that God hasn't finished. And if it's true that we are all that, if oneness is a thing and we are all a part of that, then we're the finishers, like we're the ones. So this pause and this lunar eclipse has been a massive reset, and it's a massive news flash as well. It's like, it's us. So we're the ones that are breaking the patterns that are like, going back, I don't know how many years, like millions of years. We're breaking all these patterns. We're breaking all of this corruption. We're breaking up all the old ways that we've said no. We voted. We said no. And we've got divine intervention happening. And we're taking divine intervention up on the offer. So we're going to finish it. We're going to finish this job. And, even if we have to spend the rest of our lives doing it and we still don't know where we're going, we're still going to be doing it because we have to. So I've heard it said that, new ways are coming. There's going to be like a new cosmic standard, and we're a new human. We're becoming a new version of human, and our DNA is changing, and there's going to be more telepathy and psychic communication, and we're actually going to speak less. And we're going to kind of receive more direct energetic clarity as a result of not needing to deceive each other anymore and not needing to steal each other's energy, not needing to be completely wonky in relationships. I kind of like the sound of that, although I can't imagine not speaking as much, but That's just me. So we're becoming anchors and bridges to this new unity consciousness, even if we don't fully understand it yet. We're being activated and we're letting our bodies guide us and our souls. And we're doing it, and we don't know how we're doing it, but we are. And we're expanding creatively without a map. And it's just happening, and it does feel weird. And we are the architects. We're the architects of the new reality. We're the leaders, but we're learning how to do that. And we're learning how to just receive information rather than being the doers. And it's not easy. It's really confusing. I spend a lot of my time confused. I don't know about anybody else. So it does seem like we're taking on a never-ending monumental challenge with no end. But endedness is kind of part of the program, in my opinion. You know, like Disney's Happily Ever After. You know, if you do your homework, if you do your schoolwork, then you'll get a good job and then you'll be happy. So we know it's bollocks, the program. And it's about getting comfortable with eternity and the infinite. And we're learning not to be afraid of taking on tasks that seem like they've got no end. It's better to start than not to. And we can only do what we can do. And it's open-ended. And it's just up to us to be present with it. So another paradox that I heard in a channeled message on a video I was listening to, um, it was, I can't remember who it was that was being channeled. It was some sort of elemental earth being or group of beings. And I can't remember, I wish I could remember now who that was. But yeah, this paradox came through from them. And they're basically saying there's a cosmic window for us right now to take action and move towards the life that we're looking for and being of service in the way that makes sense to us. So it feels like, you know, we might get the message that there's a sense of urgency, like we're not going fast enough, like we have to get on it, we have to do it. And that energy doesn't work, you know, but they wanted us to know that actually there is an urgency in the sense that the astrology and everything right now is this is the best time ever for you to step into yourself. You know, this is about seizing the day and getting on with it. But the paradox is if you can do that with ease, so step into it now. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have a map. You don't have to really have any detail about that or know where you're going, but just start asking yourself questions about it even. So there's an urgency, but they want us to meet this urgency with ease. It's like jumping through really weird hoops, isn't it? And I kind of get it, but I don't get it. So what I think this sort of signifies is us becoming more right-brained. So we're letting go of logic and we're moving more into magic. And it's going to feel a bit discombobulating. So if you feel like you're sort of straining against yourself, then know that it is really paradoxical energy that we're being asked to step into. So if you haven't stepped into your purpose yet and you don't really know what you're doing, just sit with that not knowing. Sit with where you are in the present moment, because sitting with that not knowing would be you being in your purpose. Just sitting with the emotion of that is enough. And then the next door swings open, and then the next one, and then the next one. So I don't know much about astrology, but it does feel like now is the best time ever to just imagine that you're floating downstream, but you're taking action as well. So we need to engage our bodies with our feeling hearts and our thinking minds. That's how we do it. So it is weird and new, this energy, but it is mastery that we're learning. We're learning how to take action, but in an inspired way. So I'm going to stop now. Um, just like see how everybody else is feeling or has been feeling. I mean, I've had loads of change lately because I moved house about a month ago. So I've been coming into land. So I've taken my eye off work a little bit, sort of out of necessity, just kind of settling in and stuff. But I'm really happy where I am, and it feels good to me to be somewhere safe and settled and happy. And that's definitely a good place to create from. So I am probably going to start to get a bit busier. I'm already getting busier with clients, so that's interesting. But I think I'm going to get busier with social media and things like that, which I've had quite a big resistance to, really, to be honest. But yeah, I've been feeling much happier where I am, and it does feel like loads is happening. Um, anyway, I'm going to stop there. And thank you, everybody who's here on the live. I can see lots of you today. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tapping. Thank you for surrendering. Thank you for handing over those bubbles. So I'm going to stop talking now. And then if anybody wants to join in or say anything, then feel free.
I'll quickly jump in and just say thank you very much, Jen. Again, another amazing show. And love it. I just, yeah.
Thanks, Andy.
From what you normally do. So again, that's great. I don't know if anyone else has got any comment, but please feel free to jump in and just say thank you or just hello or anything.
I want to thank Jenny for that. Very enlightening. I have someone that we must trust in our ability to learn new skills and also our capacity to evolve in love as we subdue our need to serve our egos instead of serving others in love and light or higher consciousness. So, yeah, it's all about the evolution of reality for me, being able to grow and take in new concepts and bring them inside and use them. And when I hear whatever I hear from you, Jenny, it makes me just grow a little bit. So it all is beneficial because it's all about growth instead of entropy. So thank you, Jenny.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, growth. It's so important, isn't it? And there's nothing worse than entropy. And it's what we've been taught to do, isn't it? We've been taught to just stagnate and implode. But yeah, we get to choose. We don't have to go fast, you know. I think we're so sort of out of tune with ourselves in some ways because of what's happened, you know, everything that's happened to us that we just don't realize we can choose and we can have it whatever way we want. We just have to learn to choose. You know, when people say, what is the meaning of life? I think the meaning of life is choosing, like learning to choose, because it seems like, you know, the invasion of our free will and all the negative, the dark side of things is presenting reality to us without choice. You know, we don't have a choice. Determinism, it just goes on and nothing changes. And yeah, choice, it's everything. And we can choose to grow or we can choose not to. That's how free we are, for sure. Anybody else?
I was inspired when you were talking. I'll finish up. But I was inspired. Corwin came in to change the battery on my fire detector, and I know him. He's a friend of mine. And I had a little piece of jewelry I made out of copper and a shell from Florida. So I felt moved to give it to my friend Corwin for his wife because he's generous guy I like, and so he was. I was just moved to do it, but it was just something that didn't cost me anything to make it, only a little time, and it just made me feel. I brought joy. I'm bringing joy to his wife. She doesn't even know it. Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Yeah. Oh, how lovely is that? Yeah. It's a great like I've heard a lot of people have turning points when they realize how good giving feels, especially if they've been used to taking. Sometimes when people heal and they realize how selfish they've been about something, and then they turn things around because they're really enjoying the energy of giving, you know, it's transformational. I love it. Anybody
Thank
else?
you, Jenny. Thank you, Jenny, for that meditation. It was brilliant.
Oh, you're
And
welcome, Marva.
yeah, thank you. Not much to say, but thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. I think everybody fell asleep, which isn't always a bad thing. I think sometimes if you fall asleep listening to meditations, it can sometimes be um, a deeper experience that you weren't expecting.
And that sleep is needed. I do transcendental meditation, and I dropped off to sleep in the middle of it last week, and everybody was laughing at me because I was there snoring.
Oh,
But I enjoyed myself.
yeah.
No, nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's really good.
Oh, bless you. I think like with the energies of the world being this intense as well, like it's sort of showing us because I've been really tired and I don't really get tired during the day very often. So it's been really rejuvenative to every now and then have a little nap during the day, which is just not what I do. But you wake up feeling amazing and then you just get like so much more done. So listening to your body in ways that you might have had resistance to really pays off. Like I've learned quite a lot from that. And even my daughter, who's, she's nearly 16, she had a little sleep during the day the other day. And it reminded me of when she was a baby and she used to have naps during the day. But yeah, it's kind of like it sort of quite transformational in how it changes your perception of time as well. If you sleep during the day, it's odd. I'm sort of finding at the moment that the more you do, the more time you have. And then the less you do, the less time you have, which another paradox. I'm not quite sure why that is. It's really odd.
I can get that relief from deep yogic breathing or Kriya yoga breathing or just deep meditation. It's almost like a nap.
Yeah, 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 that's a lovely thing. Well, I think I'm going to stop there if nobody else wants to come on. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next week, but I'll have a think about that. If anybody has any requests about anything to cover, then let me know. Yeah, I think I'll finish there.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh,
Jenny, I've stopped the recording now. I'll post it up in a couple of minutes.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, and I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go and have some tea. So
What's up, Marva?
Thanks, Marva.
Bye for now, everybody.
Bye.
If there's no one who wants to chat, then we'll wrap it up. And I've got my arm snoring his head up. I don't think you can hear him.
No. No, I can't hear him. Oh, that's sweet.
No,
My cat's been asleep all day, actually.
he's laying on his back with his head facing up to my head and looking at me. Oh, it's moving now. Come on then. Come on. Right then.
Thanks.
Well, have a lovely evening, Jenny.
Yeah.
Kevin and Carly, thank you very much for joining Jenny's show, and we'll look forward to seeing what comes next week.
Thanks, Andy.
Jenny, I think we should maybe explore frequency healing combined with holistic, clean eating and what we put inside our temple. Just a couple ideas for you.
Yeah.
That's a wise thing for us all, right? Clean eating and what we absorb in, what we take in. It's all ebb and flow, right? So, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
The other thing I was going to say, Jenny, is just there a couple of minutes ago when you were talking about when you do nothing, you sort of still, and then when you're doing something, you get loads done.
Yeah.
I think what you were trying to describe there is reflection and attraction. So if you're doing nothing, you do lots of nothing, and you attract and reflect, and the universe reflects that back on you.
Yeah.
If you're doing something and you're making things happen, then the universe reflects that back on you as well.
Yeah.
So that might explain it a little bit.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. And it probably matters as well, like whether you're comfortable doing nothing, whether you've intended to do that for, a specific purpose, or if you're doing nothing because you're procrastinating, or, you feel like you should be doing something that you don't want to do, but you're not doing it. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that, Andy. Yeah, that does make sense to me.
Sometimes the seasons are a reflection of, in winter we might need to take a pause, and spring, well, it's time to go forth again because everything's growing, and then, it's all seasonal. Yeah, bring forth into new paradigms or new forms of expression, or hibernate in the winter. That's it.
Yeah.
That's natural. We need natural time for peace, silence, and spiritual growth. So that's a time for reflection in the winter. And same with nature. It's taking a break.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it'd be lovely to get back to proper cycles and, step outside of what's been imposed on us that doesn't work. Yeah. Yeah, it's all important that.
Right, I'm gonna get going because I'm gonna post the show up now, and I'll send you the link like I normally do, Jen.
Okay, thanks, Andy.
And we'll get that sorted. So thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you. Thanks, everybody.
Have a great evening and have a fantastic tomorrow.
And you.
Much love, everyone.
Lots of love.
Anita, Carly.
Bye.
We'll talk to you both soon, and
Bye-bye, all. Much love. Bye-bye.
Bye.